It's Operation Babble with Mike Shrews. It's pop culture, music, movies, TV too. It's time to explore life. It's Operation Babble time.
And butt sex.
Butt sex. I love butt sex. No.
Michael, what's happened? We've already gone off the rails. What have we done? So speaking of butt sex, you said you may have forgotten something about Endgame.
Yes. Not really anything I forgot about Endgame, but I don't want to dive into the Endgame. I want to dive into your butt. But so no, I was watching the Russos talk about something from Endgame that was very interesting to me. That puts another point onto the bad writing aspect and shit. Ooh. Was at the spoilers for Endgame.
For like the fourth week in a row.
Right. When Tony Stark does his snap and says, "I am Iron Man," and snaps. Yeah. When they originally shot that, he just snapped. Like Thanos said his "I am inevitable," and then he just snapped. Come to find out, the fucking editor said he should say something, and he should say, "I am Iron Man." The editor told the Russo brothers that shit. So the editor should totally get fucking writing credit because that is like one of the best. Granted,
it's considered the most iconic scene. In the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, but they did give the editor credit. They like shouted out his name in the video, so that was really
they
cool.
fucking better, but
yeah,
at the same time,
the fact that they got that the one scene, like the most like iconic scene that I'll remember for sure.
Yep.
The fucking editor came up with it. He's just, and then they went back and reshot it with him saying it. I was just like, oh my god.
It makes it like, it doesn't take away from the scene or anything, but now from like the fact that I'm constantly bitching about the bad writing and lack of, I don't think we got as many payoffs as people think we did.
Yeah.
We'll find that out in a year when everybody goes back and rewatches it again.
We'll see how good it is when you're watching it at home without the context of everything else going on in the media about it. But
that sucks though.
Yeah.
That really does like take it just makes you feel like they kind of just didn't really care at the end.
Yeah,
like they were just getting it out. That's kind of a shame. But fucking kudos to the editor, dude. Like, that is easily my favorite scene.
Wish I could remember his name, but I'm sure you guys can IMDb that shit and find out.
Just fucking Google that shit.
And maybe hire that editor on your movie so he can write your movie.
Fuck.
But no. Speaking of bad movies, I guess kind of bad storytelling.
There we go.
My topic today that I wanted to try and go through, dude, was movies that people didn't like based on like the plot, the story, and shit. Like these are like really well known movies that people just ultimately didn't like. Kind of like how people feel about Batman v Superman. Like there's
Batman and Robin.
There's like a huge audience out there that we all know, just in pop culture anyways, that people just don't like them, or they say they're bad movies and stuff. So the topic is movies that people didn't like, but I, Myke Shrews, don't know why. Like I just personally don't understand why, based off of watching them. Now I haven't gone back and rewatched them since I came up with this idea.
Okay.
So I want to shout out the movie. We'll do a couple of them. Maybe we'll get through them all today. Who knows? And then you can like possibly try and explain it to me as like your asshole-ish persona, or there you go.
You want to see if it's either gonna light the torch or if it's gonna be like, oh yeah, no, I do like that.
Right? Like I mean, because you can like these movies even if you think they're bad, but some of them I've watched them in the past. And then I'm just kind of like, well, after hearing so much stuff, especially with the rise of the internet, so not in all of these are necessarily new movies, but with the rise of the internet, you also hear about how like some of them are just really bad, or a lot of them to a lot of people are really campy, so they're bad because they're campy, like, or just
kind of you just
horrible.
don't understand why they're getting so much.
Yeah,
hate.
I don't understand why there's so much hate out there for it. It's not like they're Troll 2 or some shit, you know.
All right, you have me intrigued, sir.
So, and I was trying to not do a bunch of comic book movies, but unfortunately, those are the ones that really get a lot of the flack.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna start off with like one of the newer-ist movies on my list, which is Thor: The Dark World. Like, I'm not understanding where people are coming from with the hate on this. I hear everyone always talking about how it's such a bad movie. Even movie makers themselves, such as like Kevin Smith and things like that, talk about how it's not a good movie. Mm-hmm. And granted, I've only seen it probably a couple times, but I'm just curious, why don't we like this movie? I like the movie. I thought it was fun. But again, I don't have any like deep like roots into it or anything. I feel it was a little better than, Iron Man 2, but yeah, and that's another one that's going to be on there probably. But, for Thor: The Dark World, so why don't people like this movie?
I would say it did a classic sequel syndrome. More spectacle with less
especially
substance.
From the first one, yeah, because the first one wasn't as big. It was like one little city in the desert that they shot the whole thing in.
But it's like, I'd argue they put all the money in making Asgard look good.
Right.
Because I refuse to believe that you guys, like, people who watched the first Thor, because that's one I defended. Mm-hmm. And it's just like the world building was so solid in that movie. Like, it was just really good. But, then you got to get to Earth and it's like, okay, well, just ends up in a shitty little town.
Yeah.
But I would say Thor: Dark World gets a lot of hate because it built up this villain that ended up just being really one-dimensional and lame. And
okay.
Also, it was kind of still around the realm where you couldn't really quite, like, Thor was kind of the worst character in his own universe, if that made sense. Like, and it kind of just held on to that. And then you had Kat Dennings,
which they gave her more screen time. Yeah,
oof, that was brutal. And then it just got kind of bogged down. It was long too. It was pretty boring. I almost fell asleep in it like twice. And
really.
Yeah, it was just long and nothing really going on. Like, Loki's probably the shining star of that one, and they were also like trying to, I don't know, it was a little too much, and like that was when you could really tell that Thor and Jane didn't really have a ton of chemistry.
Yeah,
and that really showed really bad, and then it just wasn't a lot of strong acting in that either. It was just kind of bland. And it was like shot kind of boring too. Like when they end on like, they're like on the evil elf planet or whatever. It's just like really gray and boring. Like, it was just really boring. The movie is just boring as fuck. That's really the biggest problem.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
I can see where it was kind of like really slowish at some points.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't one of those movies that like all the other Thor movies where you saw him develop more as a character.
Yeah.
Where especially we've seen him develop in Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, Endgame, and even the first Thor movie. So yeah, I can see that, but or even in Avengers, I think he developed a little bit in like the first Avenger movie. Yep. So I saw I can get behind that then, because like I remember watching the movie in theaters. I think I've probably seen it twice outside of theaters since it came out in what, like 2014 or some shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just never understood like what the main slack was on it, and going in, because even like normal, as I call them, layman's, but but normal like audience, general audience, a lot of them those people too like didn't like the movie, and I wasn't sure why. I guess that was one I probably just didn't really read into a whole lot.
Yeah.
And along with that would possibly be as I said, Iron Man 2. I love that movie just because
I fucking love that one.
They introduced Whiplash, which is very challenging in the first place from the comics. I do like, however, Mickey Rourke's costume when they first introduced him as Whiplash. as opposed to like the Iron Man-esque armor and shit.
That was fucking dumb. Yeah, that looked really bad.
Yeah.
like,
But no,
that fight
I
wasn't
loved
terrible,
it. Like
but that looked bad.
that movie introduced a lot of stuff too, like Hammer Tech and all that too. Like,
Yep. Justin
are we
Hammer was a
ever
great
gonna
character.
fucking see Justin Hammer again? He's in prison. We can see him. He can come back. The actor is still alive, and he's still a good actor.
You'll never see him again.
Come on, Marvel, you're slacking.
I don't know. I've never quite understood why that one gets so much hate. Like, he's a better villain than fucking dipshit from Iron Man 3. Like, oh my god. Like,
yeah.
You know, Whiplash is pretty one-dimensional, but like he's at least entertaining. Like, he's got a weird look to him. He's got a decent motivation, which is
he has character to him though. That's the thing is he has a character to him, and I just never understood why people like just because of all the Iron Man movies, like that one gets the most shit. And I know Iron Man 3 gets some shit too, but like
I really don't understand. I mean, I thought it was paced relatively well.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I always tell people, it's like when they think of some of the most iconic things about Iron Man, that's the movie that they always pick. So it's like, you know, it introduced Black Widow, who looked fucking awesome. She looked great. You got more Pepper Potts, which was nice. The intro alone is fucking awesome when he jumps out of the plane and goes down to the
AC/DC playing and everything.
Yeah, and then it's like he shows up at the USO show. It really it gives us more Tony. The fucking stuff in Morocco is awesome, dude. Not only is the Formula One racing like
at the beginning,
awesome,
at the beginning it wasn't the USO show. It was the Stark Expo.
It was his expo.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about
which was fucking brilliant that they brought that in there too, because it's like the Stark Expo is kind of like the World's Fair type thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And like,
if people know what the World's Fair is.
Yeah, God, I'm kidding. Let's see. The Formula One race in Morocco is fucking awesome, and I still maintain has the best suit up in all of the MCU.
The briefcase.
Yeah, the fucking briefcase, dude.
Yeah.
It's like
it's genius too. It's totally something that he would have had like in the cartoons and shit.
Yeah, it's like, and it was so much. It was clever, and it showed off that like he was making it more portable, and like the way it happens, it's happening during a pretty big scene, so there's actually some serious tension while he's trying to do it, and then he like kicks the car out of the way. Like, that was fucking dope. That looked really cool. And then Justin Hammer's great. Sam Rockwell is Justin Hammer. Like, he's such a dickhead. It's so great. And then like you get Don Cheadle. Which
the Turner, like the way they just like brought him in, it was just like, yeah, it's me, whatever.
Yeah, did the meta thing where it's like, hey, it's me, I'm here, let's go.
Right.
I thought he was great. I thought the Black Widow hallway fight was pretty generic, but it was pretty cool at the same time.
It's still like the best appearance of her that we've had. Like, that's like comic book.
I agree.
Level.
Yeah.
The curly hair. I mean, granted, she was younger then, but who cares? I mean, you still, you know.
Let's see. Yeah, the end fight is pretty lame. It's just a big CGI nothing.
Yeah. Kind of
an ending, but it was neat to see War Machine finally fighting, and so you got that bit of a payoff, so you can live with that. But like, yeah, the ending was kind of but I would argue all superhero movies were ending.
Well,
like
the
that.
thing is, especially at the beginning of the MCU, like I want to say they kind of got away from it, but they really didn't, because they did Black Panther, and then they had fucking Killmonger, which was another Black Panther. But I feel that once they get away from the villains having the same fucking powers as the heroes, you'll be good. That's why I really wanted to see the Mandarin and Tony Stark fight, and now we'll never get to see that, because
that was a shame.
He had to use his mind to try and figure out how to fight this mystical force in the comics. And it was always so brilliant, but we'll never fucking get to see that. Fuck you guys and your 10 Rings bullshit fucking makes actor crap. Oh, okay. God. Anyways,
Ben Kingsley would have been so great too.
But I still liked Iron Man 3 though too. Like, for what it was more of like not, I don't want to say espionage. What is it? More like 007 type style, but not like. I don't know how they tried to play that off.
At best, I'd give you Fast and the Furious.
There you go.
I really don't like Iron Man 3, like, at all. Like, nothing about it. It really makes me sad. Like, the one cool thing was the suits, and they fucked that all up, too, so I hated it. I hate Shane Black. Shane Black's a dickhead. Fucking ruined Predator. What a piece of shit.
I still have not seen that Predator.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Iron Man 2. So you're on the page with that.
I love that movie. I think
okay.
It's great. Yeah.
I thought it was a great
third
one. I mean, they never should have switched out directors. Like, Favreau should have done 3, and we probably would have had a good story and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because that was his character. Like,
Yep.
You know,
dude, this is his fucking universe. He started it. He's the guy who went to bat for fucking Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Favreau. Thank you, Favreau, dude, because he started this, and he started it off well. It's not like he had this template that was kind of and then somebody came in and fixed it. It was like, no, this dude knew what he was doing day one.
Right.
Like, it was solid, and it was a natural progression of Tony's storyline in the second movie. Like, he's got that palladium problem.
Yep.
And you finally got Nick Fury, like, trying to bring him in. And then, like, he has the element stuff which him building the element also showed, like, it really brought in this really strong story arc about his relationship with his father. Like, that reveal when he's watching the fucking old films and then he finds the secret message from his dad. Like, come on, dude, that's a great scene. And then, like, then you have good character stuff between him and Pepper, like when he brings the strawberries to her and you find out she's allergic to strawberries.
Yeah.
Like, God. Like,
so yeah.
That was great. Nah, the second one's great. Fucking go watch it. I'm telling you, it's better than 3. Easily. Easily better than 3.
So yeah, and I like that they in 2 they actually introduced, like, the older Howard Stark that we come to know in the MCU, and then of course later they did, like, Howard Stark for Captain America, which those are the 2 that we know. Which is funny because there's another Howard Stark from the first Iron Man is a completely different actor. So we actually have 3 actors that played Howard Stark, which is cool. It was Gerard Sanders plays Howard Stark. I don't know who the hell that is, but that's his name.
Don't worry, nobody does.
But no.
As much as you didn't want to stay on comic books, I can't help myself because Captain America came up. And that's
Which
one
one?
that people... The first one. The first Avenger, which I guess is titled wrong now. Thanks, Captain Marvel, you fuck. That movie got a lot of hate, too, and I don't know why. Like, I mean, I thought that was really well done.
I always have said that the only thing that I didn't like about it was that it felt rushed.
I could see
for
that
the first
maybe.
Avenger one. And again, like, it was in a time where they weren't sure if what they were doing was going to work. Anyways. So the CG wasn't solid as it could have been, and stuff like that. Especially after you saw Thor in Asgard, and then you go and see Captain America's CG. It's kind of like, you guys dropped the boat on this one.
See, I don't know though, because I defend it because I really like the aesthetic it had, because it really reminded me of, because it was back in the Nazi era. I swore that they did that on purpose. Like, it looked that way because of it was trying to look like, because when I first see it from the first scene, it reminds me of the Rocketeer.
Okay, yeah,
or like,
I can see that.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, and I told Hannah, I remember being in the theater and the tanks rolling in, and I go, dude, I'm fucking so in right now. And like some of the like fancy cars, like when he shows up in the car when Hugo Weaving's character Red Skull shows up for the first time, and he's in the Hydra car and gets out. It looks like those old movies. It looks like Indiana Jones, and it looks like the Rocketeer. Like, I always say the Rocketeer. It was like that, like, epic period piece, fantasy period piece looking thing.
Which, can Disney do a remake of Rocketeer, please?
Fucking dude, oh god, that movie is.
I mean,
great.
You guys did Iron Man. Just fucking do the Rocketeer.
Oh god, Rocketeer would be so good. And you know who'd be so great? Fucking Chris Pratt. He'd be so good. I would love to see him.
Then people would just be like, "Oh, it's just Star-Lord, but in the
but he would
40s."
Be so good. You could probably find a better casting, but goddamn, dude, he'd be great.
So with Captain America: First Avenger, though, like I said, like, that was the only beef I had with it, is it just felt rushed.
And people are like, oh well, and also with the CGI, it started the face stuff. Like him putting his face on the body looked great. His story
that part
great.
looked good.
Like his little band of guys was really cool. Introduced Peggy Carter, who's not only a brilliant actress but fucking hot as hell. Tommy Lee Jones was cool. The stuff with Stanley Tucci was great.
Yeah.
And it had a really cool message, dude. And it really showed off his like character that stayed pretty consistent up until Endgame.
Right.
And like I don't know, Red Skull looked really good. The Hydra stuff was fine. I liked his first costume. Like not only were they able to poke fun at the like shitty pajama looking costume, but they gave a natural progression of his costume and made it like war appropriate for the time. And like it's a fucking great movie, dude. It's so good. It was really good. I really, really like that one. I wish it wouldn't get so much hate because I think I
didn't know there was like a lot of hate for that one though.
Yeah, well,
I thought I was the only one who was like, it just feels rushed.
Nope, literally you're the same person. Like it's the same thing I was here. It looked rushed. The CGI was bad, and the story was really boring. And I'm like,
let's see, really? I didn't think the story was boring. I just felt that it was the post was rushed.
Yeah,
that's all I felt.
And like I said, man, if you look at it like they did that intentionally, I think it really does fit better. Because I'm telling you, dude, it really feels like those old movies because you were doing a period piece essentially. Like I thought it looked really good because like even like when he's running down the street chasing after the car when he's first turned into Cap.
Yeah.
Like it totally reminded me of like old Dick Tracy and shit like that. Like that weird like beige bland color tone. While he was running, like it looked like those old Nazi movies. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed that one, like a lot. So
okay,
yeah,
cool, man.
Yeah, figured I'd get one on my list.
Yeah, there you go. Another one. I want to try and get away from a comic book one at this time. So I'm going to go with Cop Out. How about that? Kevin Smith's Cop Out. I think it was his first directing movie that he didn't write with Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan before Tracy Morgan's accident
and Sean William Scott.
Yeah, and Sean William Scott.
Also known as Stifler.
That one I hear gets a lot of shit, and people are like, it's a cop out, because the fucking name. People are really that's what people fucking say.
Fucking memes.
Really, they're copping out because they can't come up with something better to say than it's a cop out. Come on.
People are so fucking original.
Jeez. But I don't know. I like the movie. I thought it did what it was supposed to do. It's a buddy cop movie. You had the older cop, younger-ish cop. You had like the relationship thing going on with the criminal kind of criminal thing. It was funny. It was a comedy. It hit all the marks I felt that it was supposed to hit. Yeah. Especially for what it was advertised as. So at that point, I'm like, why are you guys hating us? It's like, I don't know. That would be like, nitpicking The Hangover, which I could fucking do in a heartbeat.
Oh, God. The first one's kind of okay. The other two are fucking trash, like the Hangover movies. But, okay, well.
I don't know if you have a big opinion on Cop Out, but like I said, I was trying to get away from comic book one at first.
Oh,
for a
I
second.
do.
Okay.
I love Kevin Smith. I love Chasing Amy. I think it's one of his stronger dialogue movies. Mallrats is probably my top favorite of his stuff because it's super lowbrow and it's just a lot of fun. Like that one's just like it's such a fucking cartoon of real life. Like I love it.
Can we say though too, Kevin Smith was doing LGBTQ content before it became mainstream and famous,
and not like bullshit pandering.
Right, like a legit storyline built in. It was Chasing Amy is fucking brilliant. Just go watch it, guys.
Regardless or not, if you actually like the way he interprets it, it doesn't matter. He was trying, like
the way he interprets. But that's the thing is with Chasing Amy, the whole story plot behind it. It's a real fucking thing that guys go through.
Or anybody,
so many,
or even just, It's just basic relationship issues, just with a twist on it. So I don't know. I thought it was really good. Dogma's great. I that one gets a lot of shit. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob is really. That's a meme movie. That's a movie that either if you don't like Kevin Smith movies, you are not.
Which I want to
like
do. We'll do a whole cast on like the View Askew verse. His View Askew, because I don't want to lump in like the 3 that he did, the horror genre ones. Tusk,
Red State,
Tusk, Red State, and
Yoga Hosers.
Yeah. Which I love all 3 of those.
I need to watch those. Tusk seems so weird. Because I saw Red State, and I
watched Red
like
State.
It.
I loved Red State.
So I might go back and watch it because I love John Goodman. I'll watch John Goodman in fucking anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Watch it and we'll talk about his 3 like horror movies.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the View Askew universe beforehand because of like we got the reboot movie coming out.
Exactly, yeah.
So
good timing.
We'll do that later. But Cop Out. So what's your beef with it, or do you have beef with it?
A little bit of both. Because I like the idea that he was working with Bruce Willis. I don't really like Tracy Morgan. He's fine, I guess. I liked him in 30 Rock. I thought he was hilarious in that.
See, I've heard a lot about that too. Like a lot of people didn't like Tracy Morgan, because people don't get into like his type of style, his comment. It's kind of like Kevin Hart. Not everybody digs Kevin Hart's. Like every freaking movie he's in, there's a short joke. It's him. You're gonna know it's him. And it's totally him too. If you watch like these videos that they post on like Instagram and Twitter, him and The Rock. Like the way his character acts in the Jumanji movie, that's how he's acting on set without being in character. So
I fucking love that movie, by the way. But yeah. Okay, so
besides
Tracy Morgan and Bruce Willis have zero chemistry. I don't like it. Sean William Scott, his character is kind of fucking dumb, like overly dumb.
Yeah.
And they really force him into the movie. Honestly, one of the best scenes in the movie is the knock knock joke in the car. No, 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 hell no, no. Like that's probably the best part in the movie, I would say. The villain stuff and like the actual like crime arc is fucking dumb, and like it was so dumb, and it ended really bad. And
it was a comedy though. It wasn't supposed to be more of like a serious buddy cop movie. It wasn't supposed to be like Lethal Weapon or anything.
Well, yeah, I wasn't looking for that, but I was saying like it was extra dumb, like the batting cage type stuff at the end was a little fucking stupid, and like, it's just it felt like the movie didn't know what it was doing. Like it just felt really confused. Like the entire
well, I feel like
and I think it's because I don't think Kevin Smith had any power on that. Like,
right. Well, that's another thing is I heard like, of course, because that's the one where he talked about Bruce Willis was kind of like his like worst enemy on that fucking film.
Yeah.
And he's gone out and said so much stuff about that, and I think that's another reason why a lot of people have ended up hating the movie, even without watching it.
Exactly.
Or with like because everybody wants to take and go off of one person's feelings and make their own opinions based off of one fucking person, which is stupid.
Yep.
I mean, and I don't even know, like, so many people after that came out. Is your AC on again?
No, they're mowing outside.
Okay.
My cousins are cleaning up the lawn.
But no, like
you get to the editing was just rough, dude.
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't tight, and especially for a comedy, a shorter movie is better for a comedy. It's just you want that punchy,
well, it was
impactful
like an
stuff.
Hour and a half, right? Hour 20?
Yeah, probably, but it felt longer. It felt so much longer, and it was like, and
I'll
have
to rewatch it because I haven't watched it in a minute, but I like. It's an hour and 47. Holy crap!
Yeah. So and I would probably say you could probably cut 17 to 20 minutes out of that, and it would be probably a little more solid because they do a lot of those run-on jokes that kind of like, and they're funny if they're funny. Like the knock knock joke is hilarious, but like him like breaking into the house and like doing the poop bandit stuff.
Yeah.
Like that ran on way too fucking long. Like, the joke is funny, but, like, get off of it. Like in Endgame, like, the dab joke, get off of it.
Yeah.
Like, that could be really funny if you just let comedy hit. Like, get your pacing. And you could tell that Kevin Smith had nothing to do with that, because it was just, like, the writing wasn't... There's no charismatic dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
No,
that
you
you're
could
really
tell
used to from him.
that's the one thing is you could really tell he did not write it just based on the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because in his stuff there is a lot more dialogue than anything else, which is awesome. I love it. But with this too, like, sometimes you have to direct someone else's work. And it shows that you don't have your heart completely into it.
Kevin Smith was just kind of set up to fail on this.
Yeah.
He didn't write it, so that's already a problem. I doubt he had any editing control, so that was definitely a problem.
Mm.
And then
Directed and edited by Kevin Smith. Written by Mark and Rob Cullen.
I'm like, what are the odds that he actually had final edit, though?
No, he didn't have final edit.
And he's a really good director. Like, he's good with people. I mean, it really shows, like, on his Flash episodes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really had a chance to see the difference between a Supergirl episode that he directed versus a normal one. But he's a good character. He's a good character director and a good actor's director. And I think when you have big personalities like Tracy Morgan and Bruce Willis, I mean, they're not going to take a lot of direction. They don't. Like, Bruce Willis is kind of known to just come in and do his thing and leave.
Right.
And Sean William Scott, I mean, he's just a character actor. If he's not doing something stupid, he's just essentially Stifler. Very seldom does he actually get to play a solid character in a movie.
Goon.
And, Goon's a great fucking film. Like, he's awesome in that. I think there's a sequel to that even.
Yeah.
When he can actually act, he's awesome. But the problem is people just like him being stupid.
So you think then that a lot of the hate for this film is basically stems because the person who's supposed to have control on set basically just didn't get control, which affects morale all around, pretty much.
Well, and it's just gonna fuck your product. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a direction that you're trying to go in and people just don't want to go in it, it doesn't matter. If people are left-handed, but I want you to bat right-handed, you obviously things aren't gonna, things don't mesh right. And I would just think, and also, like, it's hard to put all those powers together. It's like, who is this movie fucking for? You know what I mean? Like, people who wanted to come see a Bruce Willis or a Tracy Morgan movie, they're not gonna like Kevin Smith movies.
It's definitely not a Bruce Willis movie that your normal Bruce Willis fans are going to go see. If you want to see a Bruce Willis movie, you're looking for like another Die Hard or
Red.
Red. Red's a really good one.
Or then if you like Kevin Smith movies, this is not a Kevin Smith movie. It doesn't feel like one, definitely.
No.
So it's just, I think it was just a big miss.
Okay.
Like, just nobody.
I want to hear these things so that when I go back and rewatch it, I can take it into consideration. Because when I go and watch like Cop Out, I'm not watching it to be like
to be a dick
and dazzled or overanalyze. Or I'm watching it just because I'm like, it has some funny shit, so I'm gonna watch it.
I would always say just base all the jokes on the knock knock joke scene, because all that stuff with the three of them in the car, like when they handcuff him to the car and shit like that.
Okay.
That shit was funny. It was pretty edited pretty solidly, and like the timing was really good, and it's the strongest joke in the movie is all of that. So I would just say, like, honestly, I think if you could cut like probably 20 minutes out of the movie, I think it'd be pretty solid. I mean, obviously not perfect, because the villain stuff and like the over arc of what they're trying to solve is kind of stupid. Yeah. Like because the female character, you almost forget's even fucking in it. So I don't even remember who she was. I think she's just the victim. She's the Mexican lady or something who can't speak English or something.
I thought you were talking about the wife.
Might be the wife.
Tracy Morgan's wife?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right.
It's the chick at the end with the baseball bat or whatever.
Okay.
That one.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that answers that for Cop Out.
Yeah, I saw that one in theaters and it made me sad.
I don't remember if I saw it in theaters or not. I think because I just got it like from Walmart on like Black Friday when it was like $2 or something.
Oh. No, when I found out
then.
Kevin Smith was on it, I was like, oh yeah, I'll go see it.
Yeah.
And I love Bruce Willis, so I'll go see it. And yeah, then it was just like, no.
It just from hearing the stuff about it, it had its problems already before it came out. But I didn't take any of that into consideration when I watched it because I don't give a shit what the problems are. It's the end product. And did it make me happy? It did what it was supposed to do, I think, because it's hard to tell what it's supposed to do.
I say a movie is fine if it makes you feel things. Because like I said, like when you go to the theater and Endgame, it did all the things it was supposed to do. I got sad, I got happy, I got excited, I did some cool stuff. It's the good movies that you go back and watch a second time and it still lives up. And then after that, every time you can watch it again, the more times you can watch it and get something out of it, that's a good film.
Okay.
Like I'll always say Lord of the Rings because I'll watch each one for a different reason. You know, it's like every year I'll pull it out and watch it because it's just like, oh, I want to hear the music again, or I want to see Liv Tyler because they lit her so perfectly as an elf, and you know, shit like that.
She's in those movies?
Yeah, dude, she's Arwen, baby. She's the main.
I haven't watched them, bro.
Oh God, I keep forgetting you're one of those terrible people who've never seen Lord of the Rings. The easily the best, because you know everybody always has that fight. Is it the OG trilogy from Star Wars or is it Lord of the Rings? And bitch, it is Lord of the fucking Rings, baby. Like I'm in the I'm in the LOTR camp for that. Don't get me wrong, Star Wars is fucking great, but woo.
Okay.
Woo.
All right. Cool. That kind of let me down because I was just like, damn, there are a lot more problems with that movie than I realized. Now I'm just broken.
Look, man, I don't want to ruin the movie for you. Like, if you go back, and I hope you still enjoy it. But
no,
like,
I'm gonna go back and rewatch it just to see if I like it.
To see if I'm full of shit. For all I know, I could be completely full of shit.
At this point in my life, if I still like, I mean, I'm not gonna say I really like it, but I liked watching it. You know.
I'm not mad that I watched it.
Right. But
there's some movies that I watched that I'm mad that I watched it.
All right, here's one, and this one I feel it's kind of grown its audience lately. Okay. But when you watch this and then you watch Avengers, it's basically Avengers before Avengers.
Okay.
And it's an awesome movie. I love the movie. The CG does not hold up, but it's still pretty good. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
And it flopped. It failed so hard. And it was even Connery's last freaking movie that he did, like, acted in because of the failure and shit in it. Like, he just retired from acting. I know he did some voice acting afterwards, but that doesn't count. And that one, I'm like... Maybe it was just because it was ahead of its time or something, but I don't see even going back and watching it, I don't see the hard hits that people do to it.
I think it came out at the wrong time. I don't know if it was necessarily before its time. I think it just was competing with things that were doing it better.
Okay. Well, it came out in 99, right? Or 2000?
So probably 2000, because I would say this was around the realm of, you had the prequels coming out, you had The Mummy, and you had, I think that's when Hellboy was getting ready to start running around.
2003, okay. Yeah, okay.
So I think like I mean, if you...
Yeah, Hellboy was around there.
Because you had, let's see, you had Hellboy, you had...
Hellboy, of course, is going to show me a 2019 one.
Yeah, 2004 Hellboy came out, and then you had The Mummy was like 1999, and then The Mummy 2 then probably came out around the same time.
Right.
And I mean those movies are like solid. Those movies were really, really well done, and they were kind of done in that
time era.
That style and stuff. And I just think, and like Van Helsing just came out. With Hugh Jackman. So, it was like you saw some really bad versions of that kind of stuff, and you saw some really good versions.
Right.
And I think League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was just kind of it just came out at the wrong fucking time, man. Like,
now, was that based on like a graphic novel, or was it just an original? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'd never looked into it, but I just like the idea. It is literally Avengers before Avengers, but with literary heroes instead of comic book heroes.
Yeah, which was cool. It's a comic book series co-created by writer Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill, which began in 1999.
Okay.
The series spans 2 6-issue limited series, a volume 1 and a volume 2.
So 99 is when the comic series came out, so it didn't really have a large following already. So that's another big one on top of it. And it was when it came out when comic book movies were still like not really a big thing too.
And I mean, it was a cool idea. It was totally a cool idea, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, is this really gonna work? And
it'd be interesting to see Netflix pick it up as a show.
That'd be cool. I mean, I'd argue you're probably getting it with Umbrella Academy.
Kind of, yeah.
Strange misfit, not.
But
but
the thing I liked about that was it was actual like literary people being characters. Like you had now, granted, if
Dr.
they did
Jekyll and
it
shit
now,
like
if they did it, you know, people would be like, "Oh, well, that's a ripoff of the Hulk," or "That's a ripoff of Avengers." Like, no. These came out way before comics were ever a thing.
I think it's one that you could probably go back and enjoy.
It totally is. It still holds up. Like, I only have it on DVD, and it still looks decent. I'm sure if I bought it on Blu-ray or something, it might look a little better. If they remastered it.
It just looks really corny. But I mean, I'd argue I think it would be fine because a lot of movies essentially lifted a lot of shots and ideas from like Watchmen. Like, I mean, come on, it almost looks the fucking same. But you know, the style looks cool. They did a lot of like period piece stuff. The costumes were fucking solid. Cinematography is pretty good. CGI is not terrible, especially for the time.
Right.
You know, I think it's fine. I think if you go back and watch it, I think it'd be perfectly fine. It doesn't deserve the hate it got, but it also isn't a solid film. But it was definitely fun. But I think you could enjoy it. It at least is a B movie, which I think is better than a B movie. So So there you go. I would check it out.
I mean, it's got a decent story, and I that's one of the things that caught my attention of it when it first came out too. And that was before we had everything that we have now. And, you know, so I recommend that people go and see that one. If you have not seen it, or if it's been a long time and you don't remember it, go and watch it. You know, see what Professor Hulk really could look like.
God, no shit. God, how it should have been. Oh, yeah, dude, I'm watching a fucking shootout scene in the library. It looks fucking dope. And this guy running around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the guy's like running around with just his fencing sword. Like, he looks fucking awesome. This looks great. I mean, it's shot really well. The action's pretty good. Yeah, this looks great.
I wonder if they remastered it for Blu-ray or not.
God, I'd hope so.
Because
the scene is literally sweet. The scene is literally called a library of bullets. Yeah, it totally looks like the library from Hellboy. No, this looks great. I would absolutely tell people go give it a try. Go give it a look. Go give it a looky look.
From the man.
It looks fucking better than that Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie. Fuck. Which I really
You didn't like that one?
I actually liked it a lot. I enjoyed the soundtrack. The CGI is really shitty, but fuck, I love that movie. I think it's great.
Yeah. Did that one get hate? I'm not sure about that one.
Oh yeah, dude. Are you kidding me? Fucking most people assume that almost derailed Hugh Jackman's fucking career. Also, the hottest Kate Beckinsale will ever look on fucking film. You could maybe argue her in Underworld, but half of that I think was the costume.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen on Blu-ray for $8 on Amazon Prime. Why the hell not?
I would absolutely watch this. This is great.
Actually, they have there's a threefer on Amazon with 3 movies. One is League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and two of the other movies are 2 other movies on my list.
Oh,
So hey, maybe I'll
here
buy
we go.
that.
Maybe I'll be buying that today.
So, I mean, if I say one, you'll definitely know the other one. Well, is the other one on here? Or did I not put it on there?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm watching the 2 vampires fucking sword fight. This is dope.
Which one? League?
The hot redhead one and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, from League. Yeah, this is dope. Yeah, dude, I'm probably gonna watch this now. Because that's definitely a movie Hannah would be fucking all about.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, that's good.
All right, so now that we're off of League, and another thing too, before we get off of that real quick, it was Sean Connery's last legit movie that he was in, which saddens a lot of people too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to see him, watch it. Just watch it. I mean, it's not The Rock, but still. and I mean, The Rock is in the movie, not The Rock, the actor, guys. John got me. How about Battlefield Earth with John Travolta?
Oh, that movie's a fucking piece of shit. I'm sorry.
Have you ever read the book though?
No, God,
no. Okay.
No.
Okay, then you can't give me your.
I could see you liking it just because it's got that fucking
the sci-fi feel,
Star Trek-y feel to it. It just looks fucking John Travolta looks like a fucking asshole, and the CGI's not good, the acting's fucking terrible. Everything about that movie just felt wrong to me. I hated it day one. Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad, but I got nothing good to say. But the soundtrack even fucking blows. I didn't like anything about that movie. But
I've only seen it once, so I definitely didn't have any opinion on it. I just knew it was one that when I watched it, I was like, okay, that's cool. That's pretty cool. So we'll go off of that really fast. How about, and this one, there are things in this that I do not like, but as a whole for the movie, I was always curious about this. And you're probably the better one to ask than people in my family or Nikki, because she's just like, oh, well, that was a good movie. Or she'll be like, or if I'll tell her, yeah, John didn't like this movie, she's like, well, what doesn't John not like?
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's always like, God, he fucking hates everything. I'm like, dude, I don't even think it's that bad considering how much media is out there. Yeah. I really don't hate as much as people think.
All right, so this one is with The Rock in it. And even The Rock himself has made fun of this one.
Okay.
Doom.
Oh, man.
There are a lot. Now, Doom has a really good cast. I will tell you that the fucking cast
fucking Carl
is
Urban?
Awesome.
Come on.
Oh, you can't get past. I mean, well, once you do get past the cast. My only thing that I didn't like in the movie is so they spent the whole movie like a normal movie, and then at the end is when they jump into video game mode. First person and stuff.
Yeah.
Which was, to me, it was like, okay, pick a style, do the style for the whole movie or don't. Yeah. I mean, now they could probably get away with doing the whole movie in first person because they have movies like Hardcore Henry and I know there's another one recently that came out too. So it's I can understand that. But, I mean, you had The Rock, and I'm surprised that didn't just halt his fucking career.
God, I can't believe it either.
Just because of the hate that movie got. But as a whole, for the storyline, of course, I'm not a Doom video game person. I randomly play it, but I don't pay attention to the storyline. So for the movie, I thought it's cool. It's a decent sci-fi movie. That's how I looked at it. Especially for the time that it came out was 2005. So I was graduating high school, I think.
Dude, the blonde chick in that movie, Nina Bergman, holy fuck, dude. Yeah. She would have been an awesome Captain Marvel. Holy shit.
Okay.
She would have been fucking awesome. I gotta show you.
Wait, who?
Nina Bergman.
In what movie?
Doom.
I don't see her on here.
Or at least Google like put her face on it. Like I don't know if she was in it, but I think they might be talking like she'd be good in a reboot.
Nina
Bergman. B-E-R-G.
Oh, Bergman Doom. Yeah, I guess she's going to be doing a reboot of this. Okay. 2019 Doom Annihilation, an upcoming American direct-to-video action horror film.
Yeah, there it is. Dude, if she can act, dude, she'd have been a fucking awesome Captain Marvel, dude.
She looks
dope.
familiar. Let's see. Okay.
She looks awesome.
No, I agree. She could have been a good Captain Marvel, except she's a little older, so they probably wouldn't have picked her.
Oh, but I mean,
that's why. Because Captain Marvel, Brie Larson's like younger than us, so
doesn't look like it. God, I hate her. Anyway,
it's them Hollywood years.
I don't know. Doom, it tried something.
It did because it was before before Doom came out. What do we have for comic book movies really? Mortal Kombat.
You mean video game?
Or video game, yeah. We had Mortal Kombat and then we had Resident Evil at that time.
Yeah, I don't know if Tomb Raider had come out yet.
Yes, the first one probably did. Tomb Raider came out in like 2000, I believe. 2001.
Okay, yeah. So
we had Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, and then we had
Mario Brothers.
Mario Brothers. Video game adaptation movies really usually don't do very good.
Oh, dude, the Assassin's Creed thing was fucking abysmal.
Wasn't Prince of Persia a freaking video game too?
That was a piece of shit too. Yeah. I don't know. They just couldn't figure anything out. The first person thing was cute, but fuck, it just no. It just doesn't work. It doesn't. It's extremely jarring. And it just doesn't work for the narrative.
Well, the first person, like I said, is one of the things I didn't like. But like, as far as like the story plot of the entire movie, is it referential to the video game at all, or
pretty much? Yeah. It's really the only thing you got to take from it is you're on Mars and you accidentally open a portal to hell. That's pretty much all it is. So I don't know. The big fights were kind of dumb. It just got a little. It got a little crazy.
Right.
It went too far. I think that was the problem. And the script is shit, dude. The dialogue is so bad. Like, literally all you hear is The Rock pretty much every 5 seconds going, "What? Like, what? We're out of ammo. What? We opened a gateway to hell. What?" It's just fucking dumb.
But Carl Urban, dude.
He's dope. I don't know. That's another one that maybe if you cut a little bit of the bullshit out, like you would have turned that movie into about an hour long and it'd probably be good.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even that long. It was about an hour.
No, it's like an hour 20. It probably just hit the
hour 45.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, you could probably cut 15, 20 minutes out.
Okay.
Probably be a little more solid. I'd watch it just for the sheer B-movie stupidity of it, because again, it had a style and it tried, and some movies have actually done it for some reason. There's a fucking first-person shooter fucking angle in Aquaman, for Christ's sake. Like, why? The one time I would say they actually did like a perspective like that was kind of cool is they did like a reverse POV, and that was on District 9.
Yeah.
Where they were like going up the barrel of the gun. That was kind of cool. So I would argue some of those camera angles like stem from people trying shit like that.
Right.
But yeah, that script was pretty not great. You could tell that one was, we're going to rely completely on visuals and game references and hope for the best. And yeah, that's a hard one to watch. There's no way I can call it good, but I would say if you like B movies, that's definitely a high budget B movie that you could check.
See, that's probably what most of my problem is then, because I like Sharknado. So as like an actual movie, not just like a B movie. I like the Sharknado franchise. Yeah. That's why the last one fucking made me sad. I almost cried because of the last Sharknado movie. How the fuck does that happen? And it involved time travel.
It's because you're invested, dude. It sounds dumb, but it's like, that's why people get pissed off about TV shows, or like people get pissed off about Endgame. when you're with these characters for a decade,
Yeah.
or like 8 full fucking seasons, you know more about these characters than you probably know about people in your goddamn family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like that it's almost like instant nostalgia. Like it's like ending a book. Like when you're done reading a book,
Mm-hmm.
you already have the sadness of the finality of it. But if you're not satisfied with the ending, you never will get that feeling, and it feels so hollow. It feels like all of your passion and ambition and all your time that you put in to this story, just it feels like it was for nothing. You feel like you got duped. You feel like an idiot, and it's like it's the worst feeling in the world, man.
I think you guys
You know?
well, at least Hannah would like the Sharknado movies if she hasn't seen them all yet.
Oh, we watch them. We watch the shit
Yeah.
out of them. Yeah, they're fine. I actually because they know what they are. They
yeah,
know what they're
they
doing.
know what they are.
It's a fucking
They're
joke.
huge, like throwback and meme at the same time movies.
Yeah, it's like you're like, okay, cool. It's like somehow I'm being hit with like 90s nostalgia with a bunch of like 2000 meme culture references.
Yeah.
And that is a movie you put those in because that's the fucking point.
Like your the president in their world is actually from Shark Tank. So they had
yeah.
like
Fucking
come on.
great. Fucking what's his name? Mark Cuban. Like,
Yeah.
goddamn, dude, it's fucking brilliant. It's so funny. The whole point is to like go in and see what cameos you get.
Right.
Like that's the whole point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's one that again has a cult following now.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I've watched it, I've liked it. I mean, and this is gonna sound weird because it's an older movie, and Nikki watched it when she was a kid, but I never watched it until about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I've just like fallen in love with the movie, and I'm trying to give a little backstory here. But I know that it does not have very good like feels with the like film community. It has a lot of hate, except by the cult following of it, and it is as old as me. But oh my god, Leah Thompson in it, fucking Howard the Duck.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah.
I love this movie, and I see absolutely zero wrong with it for some reason. Like, I don't know if it's, like, granted, I've read the Howard the Duck comic books before, and I know it's, like, far from it. But, I mean, come on. Can you pass up a movie that's going to have Leah Thompson in her fucking underwear, just, like, stretched out there, like, better than Back to the Future looking, you know? Come on, like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got nothing. It's I mean, it's funny, it's whimsical, and it's cute in its time. I love the fact that it's kind of adult.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, that's his character is like more adulty.
yeah.
That's why him and Deadpool would work good together.
Yeah, that would actually, I would watch the shit out of that. I wish his character design looked a little more accurate. He looks a little too stupid.
In the '86 movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's more because of the way they did. It's an actual costume. It's a puppeteer thing.
Yeah.
Which again, you could say, well, they did Ninja Turtles better, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it was Lucasfilms. They were just like, let's throw together a movie real quick.
Yeah. I feel like they didn't quite know what they were.
I didn't
what their target audience
I
was.
never went into this movie though hoping for it to be a comic book movie. I still don't even look at it as a comic book movie. It just has a comic book character's name.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what's awesome about it, if you can go into it with that mindset. And I just fell in love with it since I started watching. I've probably watched it a billion times since I started watching it 5 years ago.
I would
budget on this was only $35,000.
I would easily say that it's another B movie. Go check it out because it'll be fun. But
that's all you're gonna say about any of these movies.
That one's pretty rough. But it's fun. I mean, it's definitely fun. It's different. It's definitely an 80s movie. You can definitely feel that.
Do you think it got a lot of hate though because of the story plot in it, that it didn't really go based along with the comics? Or
I highly doubt anybody read those comics back then.
Back in the 80s, it was like, I think he was newer then, right, at that time, because he was created to go against Disney in the first place.
Oh, okay.
For Donald Duck. So he was Howard the Duck to make fun of Donald Duck. Yeah. So that's how we got him. And then that's why it's really sad that Disney has him now. So sad. No, that movie only grossed 21,666,000, and it cost $35 million. So they didn't even make their money back.
Ouch. Let's see.
They only made $16 million in the U.S.
Yeah, his first appearance was in 1973.
Yeah.
So what? Maybe 10
a
years
decade.
Later? Yeah,
But again, that was a character that he wasn't like mainstream character. He wasn't Captain America. He wasn't the Hulk or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
they had the problem that the aesthetic was just wrong. The character didn't look right, and I think because of his like just the lack of design, like mimicking the comic book.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that like unless you're going full in, it's just not going to work. You can't half-ass a story like that because it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. You got to show me the tree and the rocket raccoon. Like if you don't show me those guys,
right,
everything else is going to be ridiculous. Like you need to go full in on it. Like imagine, if Rocket would have been a dude in a suit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They would have just looked kind of dumb.
It would have been an Ewok.
I mean, essentially, yeah. It's just you just can't half-ass it. So
yeah.
I think that was the problem. Is like it just doesn't the main character doesn't fit the aesthetic of the world that he's in, and I think it really shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you could enjoy it. You could it would definitely be fun to watch. It might be a little long, but movies back then were all like 10 to 15 minutes too long because nobody edited shit because it was hard.
It does have like the same like feel towards the end that the Supergirl movie did, where it gets a little like weird, dark-ish, demonic kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So interesting. But
yeah.
All right, so I'm not gonna get a rise out of you on that one. I know which one to get your rise out of, because this one I know it's not probably the best movie. Again, it's one I haven't watched in a long time, but I know you already talked shit about it. So, X-Men 3: The Last Stand.
God, what a piece of shit. That movie fucking sucks, dude.
Why, though? Why does it suck? Why does it suck?
It continues the neutering of pretty much all of their characters. Cyclops just turns into a gigantic bitch. And they even kill him off, so that's lame. Wolverine just is a fucking punk. He sucks.
They killed Cyclops at the beginning of that movie, so he wasn't even in it.
Pretty much, which is a huge problem. As an X-Men fan on top of it, it's like those movies really fuck Cyclops up. Like he's supposed to be a lot cooler. I think everybody always assumes that Cyclops was a cunt just because of the comic, or not the comic, the cartoon, the 90s cartoon, because they made him kind of a dickhead.
Yeah. But,
he was always supposed to be kind of an asshole, but he was also a really good leader. That's why you were supposed to like him. And then, killing Xavier was kind of, it was poignant for the film, I guess, but at the same time, it was just like...
Which they never really fully explain how Xavier comes back.
Yeah, they copped that out, and it's...
Like, they kind of, put it in the theme of the movie, like, in the back end of, like, how he can.
Yeah.
But they never actually show it. The next time you see Xavier is, at the end of the Wolverine?
Something like that, yeah. There's a lot of things. The CGI looks really shitty. A lot of the costumes look fucking dumb. Like the introduction of the Cure. It's like they half-assed that too. Again, another thing where it's just like, don't introduce an element into your storyline for dramatic effect and then immediately change your rules on it. Like, you know, the fact that like, it's like, well, Magneto got shot with it. It's like, holy shit, he lost his powers? That's fucked up.
But then
and then at the end,
yeah,
it's like, oh god, well then that just means it wears off. So why even fucking bother? This is dumb. They introduced a bunch of characters for fan service, and then you get nothing for it. Like, you know, Vinnie Jones's Juggernaut was awesome, but god damn it, he just looked like an asshole. And like Angel could have been cool, and they didn't do anything with him. And
the actor they had play him though looked like a douche.
He kind of looked like a douche. But to be fair, I mean, that could have went either way.
Then they did a better version of him in Apocalypse, right? Was it Apocalypse they put him in?
Yeah, and then they.
Well, I say better, but in quotations.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, yeah, he looked cooler.
Yeah.
And then everybody knows Archangel is way cooler than Angel. CGI is really bad. Famke Janssen or whoever who played Jean is fucking stupid. I hate her. She's not a good actress. Most of the actors in this movie are terrible. I think this was a Brett Ratner movie, if I remember correctly. He's the dickhead who did Hercules with The Rock. Yeah, that movie was really disjointed, and it was just bad. It was just bad. You could tell there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that just wasn't working. Because Bryan Singer got off of it, and he was the guy who, you know,
it's because he kept getting off on little boys. I mean,
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I can't defend that one. That one's rough. That's
another one that happens when you have a director who's building a unit, a franchise, and then they switch them last minute, and then
you can tell the meddling, because it's like if the director who built the world is no longer a part of that world, fan service shit will not work because the person doing it doesn't understand what those payoffs are actually going to be. So, yeah, that one sucks. It's not good. I would put that on the level of probably X-Men Origins Wolverine. Because that one's pretty brutal, but at least, like, the character development and stuff. Like,
see, though, I like watching Origins. I like watching Origins. The only thing that really pisses me off about Origins is Deadpool. And
yeah, I really want to.
Everything else I forgive because their whole fucking timeline and their universe is fucked, so it doesn't matter.
I really want to do a re-edit on Origins. I think that there's a lot of bad writing in that, but I think it's a lot more bad editing. Because you can get around a bad script in editing.
Yeah.
You know? Like, especially because the actors are so solid. You don't need, like, goofy fucking one-liners when these two brilliant actors can give each other a look. And, you know, I don't need, you know, these two are about to square off and you kind of see the big menacing look they give each other. You don't need somebody to do a close-up, turn to the camera and go, dun, dun, dun. You know, it's like fucking let's get on with it.
Right. Speaking of which, fuck it.
What?
Let's get on with it.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no,
next
X-Men 3,
one.
that movie sucks.
Okay.
It's terrible. Goodbye.
All right.
Goodbye, X-Men 3.
Let me do one more comic one right now, and then I'll try I'll try and do another one on my list here that's not comic book. Hulk.
I love the fact that you're doing this because it just makes me look like an asshole.
No,
like,
I honestly
here are all
am
the
like curious about some of these, like, because some of them, like a lot of these, I really like. And
you just want my overanalyzing brain to be like, okay, good.
I'm just curious as to why they get a lot of hate on the internet and shit, you know, because I see a lot of stuff and then I have other friends too that are dicks about some movies. Like, you're not the only one that doesn't like Batman v Superman that I know. When I tell friends that I like it, I just hear shit. I'll get random texts from people saying, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like what? Like
because they like listen to the podcast and you're like, "You fucking retard."
Yeah. So
well, it's just my biggest gripe about it is again that was a movie that shouldn't have failed and it failed. Like, I mean, you have your two biggest characters and Batman was so fucking cool in it. He was so cool.
Yeah.
It just makes me sad.
All right, so I don't know if you heard when I said it, but the Hulk, I should say.
With the Ang Lee one?
Yes,
with
with Eric
Bana?
Bana. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. That movie sucks.
That movie is fucking awesome.
You are insane.
It tried something. It was different. It was cool for the time.
How was
it had
it
Sam
different?
Elliott as freaking Ross in it. Like, come on. Like, you actually get introduced to a lot of characters that the MCU ends up throwing in anyways later. Granted, this is not part of the MCU one.
That's what I was about to say.
This is not the Incredible Hulk, guys. I'm talking about the Eric Bana one, the Hulk from, 2003?
The Ang
and this is
Lee.
the one where Hulk, every time he got, like, more mad, he would get bigger and bigger and bigger, which was cool. I mean...
I did like that. That was...
it made some more sense than... I'm just going to get more angry. You see it physically, like, drive into his body as he's getting bigger and bigger.
I'm literally having deja vu thinking about it, but it's like, yeah, but the problem is like, okay, so then what are the rules, though? Like, how big can he get, then? Does he just turn as big as a fucking mountain?
Yes,
or...
he can. He can.
Yeah.
He can get as big as his dick needs to get.
Oh, my God. Look,
fucking Nick Nolte as the bad guy, though, is fucking awesome. Spoilers for the Hulk.
John Travolta was in Battlefield Earth. A good actor can't save a shitty movie.
Come on.
Fuck it. Okay, like...
You go back and watch this movie and tell me it's not at least close to, like, Origins, Wolverine Origins.
I will absolutely tell you it's not, because
Oh,
I've watched
fuck
it
off.
like four. I watched it like 4 times, dude. It's like, because it was one of those movies I wanted it to be good, and it just wouldn't be good. It was like Ang Lee had no business doing this fucking movie, because he tried to do all this artsy shit, and
it was really cool, like, especially like the I believe it's the opening scene where they're going through like the lab shit and stuff, and it kind of looks like the intro from like 7 almost.
The Incredible Hulk 2. No.
Yes.
I mean, maybe that aesthetic was kind of neat for the opening of the movie, but then that's fine. Then it dies there. Like, the comic book panel thing was really lame.
Also,
the editing was really shitty. And
are we supposed to be saying, because of the way the Incredible Hulk movie starts,
yeah,
are we saying that the Hulk is the first one to the Incredible Hulk? And is that what they're saying in that movie? Because the way the intro is for that movie is kind of like showing like the shit that happened in the Hulk almost.
Well, the whole deal was, it's just showing you the backstory. That's all it is.
But I'm taking it as the Hulk is part of the MCU then.
No, it's not. But, well, the Hulk is obviously part of the MCU, but not
the
the
Hulk
Ang Lee
movie is part
my
of the
God.
MCU now. Because it's their first one. It's the first Hulk movie to Incredible Hulk.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yep.
All of it's
yep.
bad.
Yep. Come on, people.
It's all
If
bad.
you agree with me,
It's all bad.
tell John
It's
to
so
fuck
bad.
off in the comments.
Like, because the acting's not great. The CGI is horrific, dude. Even for the time, it was fucking bad. Like, it was oversaturated and looked really fucking bad. Like, the Hulk looked like a dickhead. Like, it looked terrible.
It looked
and then,
awesome. For the time, it was awesome.
not even
Especially
for the
coming off
time.
of, before that, all we had was the TV show from the 70s.
That Ang Lee Hulk came out after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, right? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, right around the same time.
Okay. Well, look at those two movies
Before.
side by side.
Before it, actually.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this one came out in 03, and League of Extraordinary came out in 04, right? Or 05. League of...
I will let you check that. But I don't know.
yeah, so they're both 03. So
the acting's terrible, dude. Like, yeah, you had good actors in it, but oh man, they can't act. And like, nothing about Eric Bana's face says smart scientist. Nothing. Also,
he does play a good Nero in Star Trek, though.
Oh yeah, well, when you only have a one-dimensional character, it's kind of hard to be shitty.
They put a lot of makeup on him in that movie.
Fuck. I don't know. And like the 3-headed dog thing was fucking dumb, and like their Abomination was like a really retarded look.
That wasn't Abomination. They did not
Who
have
was
a.
it? Oh no, it was Absorbing. No, that's not right. What the hell?
That was.
it?
I think they just made that guy up.
No, he's a villain.
No.
I think so.
The Hulk.
It's like I feel like my computer knows I'm talking.
Because it's absorbing, man.
Like,
okay, yeah.
I told you, see, suck a dick. It's just bad. It looked bad.
But,
I hate it. The pacing's bad. The editing's bad.
I had heard a rumor that they had just made that up, though. So
maybe. I mean,
maybe the rumor was just made up.
Character design. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I've given it like 3 runs to try and like it more. No. It's I hate the. I've always hated that comic book aesthetic. Like even Losers did that at the beginning of their like first like raid. Like they were doing that like stop freeze frame hits and like comic book panel shit. Like it just doesn't work, dude. Unless you're in a cartoon doing it correctly, like Into the Spider-Verse, like there's no. It's better for montages. You don't cut up an action scene with it. You don't cut up a story with it. It's bad. It's bad.
Right.
Yeah, pacing's bad too. That shit is boring. It's so fucking boring. It's so boring. Yeah, no, I can't even. I'm sorry, I can't even with that one.
You can't even.
I can't even with it. Yeah, I have to meme it. No, I can't. I'm sorry. I have nothing good to say about that movie. I really don't. I think about it all the time, actually, because it comes up a lot because of Ang Lee. Well, and because Ang Lee's doing. That's why. Because Ang Lee's doing that Gemini Man movie with fucking Will Smith.
Oh yeah.
So that's the right. Ang Lee shit came up again. So I was like, oh. Yeah, no, his artsy style just does not work with what they were trying to do with that movie. No. Make it go away. Burn it with fire.
Nope.
Kill it dead with fire. But why'd you like it? I gotta know why you like it though. You're gonna just listen to me
I was a big
about
Hulk fan growing up, watching the TV show with my grandparents. So this being the first freaking actual movie we got, besides like the Hulk and the Trials of Hulk and stuff like that, which were the same thing as the TV show. I loved it. I loved the intro. Like I always like those more experimental things, though. I'm really big into indie film. In case people want to know, so if you got any indie films, send me a link.
Send it my way.
But no, I love like just experimenting with shit. So that's why when we were in a class together and they were like going deep on, I think it was this movie. One of the intros for some movie, I believe it was this one, how it was like overdone and shit. I was like, fuck you guys, this is awesome. I was like, just open your mind. Like, you're supposed to be creative. It doesn't have to be the same dull, boring shit everyone else does.
I'd give you the opening sequence was cool. I mean,
yeah. And I like the fact that they gave him a little bit more, like, yeah, I mean, the villain sucked. I will admit that. Like, I didn't even understand any of the villain stuff. But as far as, excuse me, as far as everything else goes with it, I thought it was pretty cool, pretty laid out. Again, I was that came out in 2003, so fucking 16, 17, 15, 13, one of those in the teens.
Wow. Come on, dude. Fucking math. Come on. And
14,
I think we were about
56,
we were pretty
17?
We were going around 16.
16, 17,
yeah.
So like I was always trying to find new cool creative things. I was that asshole that would like make random like art pieces out of just garbage and shit. So I like to see unique things, and that movie to me was unique, and so I've always liked it.
It was certainly unique.
But I do think even Nikki doesn't like that movie. She said it's stupid. But so let's move away from a comic book movie for a minute. And I know you like this one, and I like it, but it does get a lot of hate. And I just want to discuss, because maybe you know what more hate it does receive. The 2000 Godzilla movie.
Ooh, yeah.
It gets a lot of hate.
It really does.
It's very, very Americanized for Godzilla. And that was one of the biggest things I heard about it, was it's an American Godzilla. Godzilla. But I liked it for what it was. I mean, I got a bunch of the stupid like swag and stuff that came out when the movie came out.
Oh, I got all kinds of merchandise. I bought like that was like the movie that I decided like anything merchandising, I'm buying it. Like I had like coffee mugs of the dinosaur. I called it a dinosaur, but whatever. The monster's head and like
that was
pens
the biggest thing too, is because it came out after Jurassic Park had, and people were like, "Well, it looks like a fucking T-Rex."
No, it's totally what it does. And then like the babies look like velociraptors.
Yeah.
It was well, the movie's just not good. It's not a solid film. It's editing's kind of dumb. Lighting's okay. A lot of camera angles are kind of boring. CGI's kind of meh.
It did not hold up.
And the inconsistency of the monster itself is bad. Either the thing's as big as the city or the thing is as small as an elephant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the sizing proportions.
Maybe it's like a snake. He's a snake and he can just form
get bigger and smaller.
He's Hulk and he got bigger when he got mad.
I don't know. It's just a bunch of dumb characters doing dumb things, but it was funny. I enjoyed it. That is a B movie with a budget.
Yeah,
I would say, like, because like
dude, the marketing on that was huge back then. Like, I remember when that movie came out, it was like a big thing.
You'd almost say of Godzilla proportions. I mean, yeah, go back and watch it, dude. It's really more of a joke.
Can you do something for me? File that fucking joke you just said.
File it.
File it. File it.
Oh my god.
Horrible.
No, thank you. Yeah, the acting's not solid. Matthew Broderick's just kind of a stupid character.
Well, that was coming right off of he was coming right off of Cable Guy, I think, for that one.
Oh god.
So and the characters are almost identical from the Cable Guy to that. It's funny.
I don't know.
I don't know if other people notice that, but I know.
And like Jean Reno and all the stupid stuff in the stadium and like the like taxi driver shit is all dumb. It's really bad. It's super, super campy and like, but you know, that was one I went into. I wanted to love the shit out of it and I decided I'm going to. And then you go back and then I went back and watched. I watched it as early as probably 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I looked at it again.
We just watched it about a year or so ago.
It's it's just campy nonsense. It's got some really good comedy beats though. Like Hank Azario's really funny in it. Jean Reno's in it again. He's fucking hysterical.
I recommend it to anybody who's like for a family movie. It's better than the new Godzilla movie that's out.
I would
because
absolutely
the
agree.
other Godzilla movies are not really like family and they're really slow.
Just don't think of it as a Godzilla movie. Think of it as a B monster movie, like a Mega Shark versus whatever, and you'll like it. I think it's fun. It looks good. It looks good for the most part. Like it running around the city and stuff. Little video game.
Honestly,
but again,
I'm surprised they didn't call it something else because it was weird to see Godzilla in New York. Yeah. Because and again, everyone was like, "Oh, it's American Godzilla." You just call him that. Call him American Godzilla.
Gojira. No, it's fine. I would say go back and watch it for funsies, but it's not. Yeah, it's not breaking any records or anything. It's
okay.
I still like it. I'll watch it again, but then fucking da-da-da, da-da-da, that soundtrack is fucking hysterical. It's
all right.
Great.
So, do you want me to keep going? I have a couple left. That's about it.
Finish out your list, bitch.
All right,
Let's
man.
go.
All right. So, comic book movie now. That way I have another. I think I have one more that's not comic book movie afterwards.
Okay.
So, 2003's Daredevil.
Fuck. I like that movie.
I feel his costume in that movie is better than the TV show one.
I absolutely agree. Absolutely, 100% agree.
And for as much shit as people gave Affleck when he got cast as Batman, and they were like, well, remember when he was Daredevil? When you watch that, I don't think a lot of people watch that fucking movie.
I agree.
Because his performance as Daredevil, like when he's in costume, is fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, when he's out of costume, fuck off. Like that scene when he's like getting into the water and like he's showering and he's taking all the stuff off and he's like pulling his teeth out and
Yeah.
shit like that. It just shows like the brutality that the guy takes on a daily basis. Like,
Yeah.
and like then, and I love the idea that he's got to sleep in that little sleep deprivation chamber so he can fucking sleep.
Right.
Like,
So he can't hear anything.
it seemed like it's another problem that the TV show doesn't do. It's like, yeah, his fucking like bat vision sonar shit is a little campy and lame, but like, show me how his powers fucking work, because otherwise he's just some dickhead. Like, you know what I mean?
In the TV
Like,
show, they just made it seem like because he lost his sight, his senses, his other senses were
just shot up,
amplified.
Yeah.
So
This
it's
had
like
actually
this
made him
one,
feel like it felt like he had powers. It felt like it gave him agility.
Yeah.
And it gave him a little bit of extra
so
strength.
he
I
could
don't know if he's
kind of
necessarily stronger.
he could kind of like, well, in the movie they kind of gave us the feel that he could see in sonar, but I mean
that he could do
you can-
something that was superhuman, like
Right.
something that he could do that made him a superhero, not just a hero.
especially when you see like villains and shit he's fought in the comics,
Exactly.
as opposed to like what they have him fight in the TV show.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, he has to have something other than increased hearing, because then they could just blare some fucking music and
Exactly.
beat the shit out of him.
His dude, the bullseye in the TV show was way cooler though.
That's because they gave him a backstory. I feel if they wouldn't have done the backstory on Bullseye, and they never called him Bullseye anyways.
Yeah, he also seemed more menacing and like he could actually use a lot of weapons and like crazy shit.
But you didn't like Colin Farrell as Bullseye with the horrible accent.
He was so campy. He was so campy, and I guess I kind of liked it because it kind of gave him like that eccentric insanity kind of feel, especially on the juxtaposition of Michael Clark Duncan's like more calm and let's talk about that, dude. Fucking Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. Fuck you, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was
Like,
perfect casting because of how big he is already of
Yeah,
a
and his
person,
voice.
and then his voice.
He's so
And
grandiose.
I know people gave shit because he's black. I'm like, who the fuck cares?
That's
One,
another
the
one of
white
those
suit
times.
looks even better on him because he's black.
Yep. Dude, I would say that's another one of those moments where I go, as long as the casting serves the story, I don't care. Michael B. Jordan being Johnny Storm did not bother me at all. Like, if he's a better Johnny Storm than Chris Evans, fine. But he wasn't because he was in a shittier movie. Like, sorry. But Michael Clark Duncan's fucking awesome. You don't want the best of the best actors to take that thing. Like, the guy has screen presence. Don't get me wrong. Vincent D'Onofrio fucking destroyed it on the TV show.
Yeah.
Like, he's awesome, dude. But he doesn't have that big menacing presence like everybody else. Like, Michael Clark Duncan's huge, dude. Like, he was huge. Like, that fight scene in his and
I could see
office?
Michael Clark Duncan like legit running the ring on somebody, dude. Like,
exactly.
he could do it. He just
Pick him up by
big-ass
one
dude.
fucking hand and
He
chuck him
didn't
across
have
the
to
room.
have like implants in his boots or anything to make him look that fucking big, you know.
Like, the fight scenes were pretty good. I think the only fight scene that was really fucking dumb was the playground one.
Where
There's
they
a
weren't
lot
even
of-
fighting, they were just like playing around, weren't they?
Yeah,
With him
it was
and
just
Elektra?
really. It was really bad wire rigging. Like, the wire rigging in the fights were really, really, really bad. Like, really bad. Jennifer Garner was kind of a terrible casting for.
Which is that where they met
for
to
Elektra?
get married, or were they married and then she just got the gig because of that?
Who cares? I think they met. I think they met on that one.
Okay.
Because I think that was when he was doing the whole Jennifer Lopez thing, wasn't he? I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
But I don't care. Her costume was kind of cool. Her size were pretty badass. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. The fucking sandbag thing was pretty iconic for me, but it is also extremely corny and stupid.
Yeah.
Also gave us Evanescence, which awesome. I'll take that. The soundtrack was really solid. I enjoyed the soundtrack a lot, like a lot. Like the fucking introduction scene when he's up in the rafters at the bar is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, and he fights everybody. I thought that was pretty dope.
There's a
Bullseye
lot
was
of
fine.
characters they had in that movie too that a lot of people didn't realize were like legit characters for Daredevil, until of course the show came out and you hear the names multiple times per episode and shit like that. Because they had like Karen Page in there, and the main the guy Joe Pantoliano. I think that's how you say his fucking name. He played like the Ben guy from the TV show. Ben
Urich, I think is his name. No,
so they have a bunch of them, and then
the acting's solid. The acting is fucking solid.
And then Jon Favreau is fucking Foggy. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Like, I love that scene in the diner, dude, where they fuck with him with the mustard and the honey, and he walks in and there's the smell. Like, it's like, oh my god, dude. Like, the character development's really good, and the acting is. Ben Affleck's a solid actor in that movie. Like, he's really good, and the dialogue's not bad, and they actually balance the courtroom stuff with him pretty well. Like, that's another thing I feel like the TV show was really. I don't find Daredevil to be a likable character in the TV show, like at all. He seems like a selfish dickhead.
Yeah, he became more of an asshole in there, whereas even in the comics, like, he's not an asshole.
Exactly. Like, he tries his best, but like. People cover for him because he's actually a genuinely nice guy. Like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. The TV show is fucking fantastic, at least on an artistic level. Like, it's shot beautifully and the music's good and the fight choreography is cool and shit. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know. That movie, the original Daredevil does not deserve the hate it gets. It really doesn't. I think it's a little campy, does some kind of dumb shit here and there, but I think that was because that was when comic book movies were still trying to figure it out. Like, how much campiness do I play with the seriousness and the playfulness of it all? Because it's just like, yeah, the Elektra stuff is kind of dumb. Like, it's not handled very well. If it had been handled better, it'd have been good, and it only gets worse in her own movie.
Right.
But yeah, I absolutely say go back and watch that shit. Ben Affleck's fucking great in that movie. I think he's great. The costume looks good. I think all the costumes look pretty solid.
And that
and
one,
like, and the end fight scene with him and Michael Clark Duncan in the water is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they do good callback shit. It's fucking great. I think that movie's good. It's definitely watchable. It definitely is fine. I think.
Well, now I don't know why the internet hates it so much, since you like it so much.
Yeah, right. Well, it's because they wanted it to fucking be amazing. They wanted it to be like fucking Batman. Well, it was
still before, like, fucking, we were really hitting it home with comic book movies at the time. So they didn't know what they were doing. They weren't planning on building shit. They weren't. It was supposed to be a one-off, so you show off some stuff, and there you go.
Well, it should have been fine by itself. I mean,
comic book movies weren't, at that time, were not being made to, one, build a huge thing, or two, to try and win an award. Nowadays, you can tell that they're trying to do that.
Well, and also they weren't pandering to the comic book people as much.
Right.
They were trying to hit more broad audiences.
Right.
I think when the MCU started to get a little stronger, they really threw in that pandering a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then it got a little out of control after a couple of movies, but I mean, for the most part, they were doing it right. But that Daredevil movie's fine. It's totally fine. It looks, it might not be your cup of tea, but I don't really, other than some really shitty fight scenes and maybe some questionable acting, I think it's a solid movie. I think it's perfectly fine.
Right.
Yeah. His origin is told really, really good. I liked it.
So, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Not a lot of people like that movie for some reason.
I'm surprised. I actually like it. I think it's neat. I think it's shot really well. I think the acting is really good.
I know we talked a little about this before on another cast, like, because they did a lot of the historical stuff proper in there. Like, they built the historical stuff into
just like
their vampire
cute little
lore.
Head nods. Just cute little head nods to actual stuff. And like,
I think that's one of the problems, too, is like people that go with like your normal people that don't really know any history.
The layman's.
The
layman's, Michael?
Yes.
Are you trying to say the layman's?
Like, they're not going to understand, like, some of the nods that they're doing, like where his wife was, like, sick and
shit like that.
Or his kid, all that shit. So
because I liked Pride and Prejudice versus Zombies too.
I did not see that one yet. I heard it's pretty good. Nikki watched that. She watched it.
If you liked Vampire Hunter, you're gonna like this one.
Right?
Like, you would. It's just like I mean, the production value is better than some of the movies that were actually trying to do period pieces at the time. Like, come on. The suspense was really good. The lighting's fantastic. The editing is solid. It's a good, like, little action horror flick, even. Like, they really do the suspense really well with the vampires. And, like, it's stylistic, and it was different. It was totally different, like, at the time. Like, it was just something...
Right.
I don't even know if I'd call it campy. I thought it was
I
endearing.
didn't think it was campy whatsoever. I thought it was more of like a dramatic action.
Yeah, I thought it looked great. I would honestly say go fucking watch that movie, dude. It's great. It's so good. I refuse to believe you can't. That's a movie when somebody says I had fun. That's the point.
Right.
That movie, I'm supposed to go and have fun. Pacific Rim, I'm supposed to go have fun. Like, it's a bunch of fucking stupid robots fighting stuff. But Transformers? No. If you're gonna, take care of the lore. Pay attention, Give these characters the arcs that they deserve.
Yeah.
Pacific Rim, it's a bunch of empty robots with a bunch of people in it. Go fucking Power Ranger that shit. Go nuts. So, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, then you probably didn't like the Power Ranger remake. No, I didn't, because it's fucking
Did you see
terrible.
it or?
Bits and pieces.
Okay.
I watched scenes and stuff.
It's rough to watch because the whole thing, like, they basically formed it. They formatted it out kind of like an episode of Power Rangers where they're not in their suits until the very end.
Which is fucking dumb.
And I'm like, wait,
dumb.
I wanted to watch Power Rangers, not freaking The Breakfast Club.
Yep. And it's not even a good Breakfast Club. Like, all of those characters are fucking unlikable.
Yeah.
All of them. There's nothing redeeming about a single character in that group. Nobody. They're all terrible people. And they're all assholes. And they all, like...
That's
and,
one...
and the movie just steals everything, dude. The Power Ranger remake all it does is steal stuff. It looks like a Michael Bay film.
They shouldn't have done Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. They should. I feel that there's so many good storylines in the comics that they should have dove into, like the Lord Dracon one, where like Tommy becomes evil, and
I think you're
he's
only
not
bringing
really
that up
becoming
it's all
evil.
over.
No,
I think it's all.
I actually have
YouTube and shit right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't pay attention to that shit.
Well,
this
no,
is why
Jason
my
David...
content might be old because I don't pay attention to what's on YouTube.
Jason David Frank is doing that stuff. No, but I follow Tommy Oliver, like the guy promotes the shit out of this stuff.
I follow him too. I just don't really pay attention to everything that's going on. But I know, like I don't know if they're doing anything, but in the comics, from what I was reading on it, it's actually pretty sweet because I have a couple of them. I got like Shattered Realms or whatever the fuck it's called. And stuff like that. So it's pretty cool when they finally, spoilers for the comics, kill the Green Ranger. Like, legit kill him.
And look, the reason I know that the reboot sucks is because the original movie wasn't bad. It's campy, yes. It's super campy. But it feels like the aesthetic of the TV show, just with more polish. Like,
right.
You even saw them all in their suits right off the bat.
The thing with the movie, the original movie from the 90s that we grew up with Ivan Ooze, was... we had the backstory of the characters already, and this was trying to rebuild and rebrand and redo all this. Like, Goldar's a fucking ass in that movie. Like,
but I think
that's ridiculous. In the new Power Rangers movie, the thing that they call Goldar is not Goldar. It's a freaking...
But I think that's a horseshit thing to say because it's like, it's fucking Power Rangers, dude. Pretty much the whole point of the characters are that they are just tropes. Yeah. There's the jock and the smart kid and the whatever. You could do that all in the first movie, let them be tropes, and then in the second movie you bring in their personalities. Like, you don't need it. Like, because the first you just don't need it. Right. You know what they are. You know who they are. It's why Jumanji worked. The Jumanji remake worked. We didn't have to fuck around. They were tropes of themselves, and then you had the tropes turned on their heads when they hit the game. So it worked. You know what I mean? You didn't need 30 minutes of backstory for each character. You just didn't need it.
And this one, they made the kids really bad. Like, some of those kids were really bad kids.
They're dickheads.
Like,
they're dickheads. They're not endearing.
In the original Power Rangers show, like, the kids were picked because they were good.
Strength of character,
right?
Strength of
not like
personality and heart. Like,
not like they possibly could be good if they have these powers. No, No, that's not the point. You're supposed to be able to be that person without the powers.
Speaking of, give me a fucking Captain Planet movie.
Yes.
Anyway, I and like the suits look fucking dumb. Like the suits look really bad, and like Zordon looked like an asshole, and Alpha 5 looks fucking stupid, and the whole Rita Repulsa reveal at the end is fucking dumb, and like there's nothing endearing about that movie. Nothing. Anybody who likes that is a person like I hate you. I hate you. I hate that movie. I hate it so much because it just shits on the things that people like. I don't get it. Like how do you do it so wrong when you have decades worth of
You want to know how they do it so wrong? It was the first time Saban went and created something completely on their own. Because everything else has all been ripped off from Japan.
Yeah.
So, like, all that footage is just footage from Japan, and they add their own story to it.
Yeah, but they still had to film all the kids in the school or at the juice bar with fucking Ernie or fucking Bulk and Skull.
And that stuff is cheesy as shit.
But it's endearing though. You still go back and watch it endearingly. It's like I always say. It reminds me. It's just an episode of Saved by the Bell, but with a monster at the end of it.
Right.
That's all it is. Like that's all it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this fucking grandiose thing. It's supposed to be like a Jumanji style type thing. This is not even fun and endearing. Like they made all the characters really shitty and like the fucking, you know what I mean? Like think of the first movie. It like opens up with them skydiving.
Right.
In their colors, and then you see them in the suits within like 15 minutes of a goddamn movie.
In the remake, they tried to put in too much. They weren't friends, so they had to try and work their friendship in. I'm like, you don't need make them friends already.
Why
we
could
didn't
or
need
like
the
three of
Breakfast
them?
Club thing. The reason the Breakfast Club was a whole movie was because it was a whole fucking movie of them getting to know each other. We didn't need that in the Power Rangers movie, but
it's like, why couldn't three of them already be friends?
Right.
And then like, you know, and then you add like the outsider. And
Right.
then, God, it would have just been like, because you know they would have to come together at the end to make the Zord. So it's like have the one guy who's kind of an asshole.
You could have
like,
done it even like how the original Ghostbusters did, where like three of them were friends, and then they get the fourth one coming in later. You know, do something like that. Like you know,
it would have worked fine, dude. Like it's so dumb. It's just fucking stupid. It's bad. It's bad.
All right.
It makes me hate it.
So
That's a movie that deserves more hate.
There's John's movie that people.
Woo, we did it. It wasn't even on your list, but somehow you got me there. Congratulations, my dude.
All right, so I got two more. One is a comic book, and one is not. Well, technically, they turned it into a comic book. So
let's do a comic book first, then.
You want to end on the non-comic
End on a
book?
non-comic book, yeah.
Okay. Catwoman. I like that movie with Halle Berry. I like that movie. I just watched it like a month ago, and I like that movie. I don't know why, but I like that movie, and I know it gets a lot of hate.
I think you might have a BDSM fetish, my dude.
No, I think
that's what it is. I think you
why
want,
because
I think
of
you
the
just
last podcast where I was talking about flinch.
There you go. I think you wanna submit to a Halle Berry in a Catwoman costume. That is not a Catwoman movie. That is I don't know what that movie is. I don't know what.
I really like the stuff they added into it because they and secretly they like kind of like tossed it into like it's in the same DC world as fucking Batman Returns. Because they throw that little picture of Michelle Pfeiffer in the Catwoman costume in there and stuff. I was like, that's cool. That's cool. So we're not saying it's Catwoman from Gotham, but it's like the Catwoman movie basically built in the Crow type thing into the universe, which is what Catwoman basically is. It's like the Crow. You know, so
that's fucking hysterical.
So I liked it. I mean, the acting could have been done a lot better. Storyline was kind of cool. It wasn't the spoilers for Catwoman. It wasn't the man that was like the big bad. It was like actually the woman that was, and so that was something different too to see from it because you know if when it was made too, it wasn't like they were gonna do a woman on woman type fight usually.
For a movie that was supposed to have a female protagonist and stuff, and this is the problem that I think a lot of female movies have a problem with, is it's extremely sexist. Like,
Yeah.
I hate to SJW it really hard, but it's like, why is the villain so always like, the female villain is always like, I want to be younger. I need to steal life force so I can stay young forever. Like, she literally owns a cosmetic line. It's just like, it's so dumb. It's fucking stupid.
And the
like,
fact that she was like the main model for the line, like for the first whatever.
It's so one dimensional and shitty. And then like the CGI is abysmal and the music's not good, and the costume design is fucking retarded. And Halle Berry, it's easily one of her worst acting movies ever. And granted, you're not going into that movie for stellar acting.
No.
But again, you look at something.
I think that's why I like it, because it's like it's not a serious type movie. It's not.
But it's like I said,
a good
like,
movie though.
It's got the aesthetic of Daredevil essentially, but Daredevil's got better acting and like better character moments, and like she's got nothing, dude. She's just a nobody. She's literally just a constant trope throughout the entire film.
I don't know who directed it, but whoever was telling her to really walk like a cat needs to be shot. Because that's the one thing that would like threw me off. I was like, why is she walking like
an asshole? Like, she looks like a dickhead. I've just, like, oh my God, the director has one name.
What's his name?
It's just Pitoff.
Pitoff? Is that, like, their only movie?
Jean-Christophe Comar is a French visual effects supervisor and director notable for... So, yeah, if your visual effects supervisor is your first credit, you are not a director. Also... Wow, for a director who is supposed to be a visual effects supervisor, the fucking visual effects in that movie were piss. They were piss poor, my man. They are brutal. They're even bad for the time. They're just brutal. I hate everything about that movie. I hate the only thing is, like, I would even almost say, like, I want to just see Halle Berry in the costume, but I say that knowing full-heartedly that that's not
look good.
True. Like, how do you make Halle Berry... who's one of the hottest women on the planet, look fucking dumb? Like, how'd you do it? I don't know how you did it.
Dude, you want to see Halle Berry hot? Fucking watch Flintstones, dude.
Yeah! I just did watch it. She's fucking awesome in that fucking movie. I love that movie.
The first one, not the second one, guys. The first one with
not
John
Viva
Goodman.
Rock Vegas.
John Goodman and Rick Moranis, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
As Barney Rubble.
And Rosie O'Donnell, and who else was... Who's the other one?
I can't remember who Wilma was.
And
I
then,
want to say Gina
was
Davis,
it one of the Olsens as Pebbles? No.
Probably. That actually sounds right.
It looked like it. I'm not sure.
That sounds right. Oh, God. Dude,
So
Anne Hathaway is still the hottest Catwoman.
we should, since you feel that way about the Catwoman movie, I feel we should do, like, a commentary for that movie.
I would love to do that.
That would be fun.
I would say the only thing cool about her costume is like the diamond claws, which I wish they hadn't been on the big long sleeves. If they would have just been like solid gloves, like maybe that went up to the wrist.
Oh no,
cool.
It was not the Olsens for Pebbles. It was another set of twins, Elaine and Melania or Melania? Yeah, I'm going to say Melania. Elaine and Melania Silver were the Pebbles. And then you had, holy shit, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, as Bam Bam.
The writer of Catwoman confirms it was a shit movie.
See, that does not help these movies when the writers come out and say that. I still like the movie. I don't understand why it gets so much hate.
Oh,
I can't say that with a straight face now. Because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I can see. Wow. But I still like it. We can like bad movies, people.
Yeah.
Okay. I only have one left, and this is not a comic book movie. But they have turned it into a comic book.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
So this is from the avclub.com.
Okay.
Even star Halle Berry hates it. After winning Worst Actress at the year's Razzies, She accepted the award in person, thanking Warner Brothers for putting me in a piece of shit, god-awful movie. She also thanks the writers, all 20 of them, for thinking that this was a good idea. It wasn't, but thank you. One of those writers, John Rogers, who clarifies it was actually between 6 and 12 writers, also popped in to say that McAllister's warp take is a bad one. As one of the credited writers of Catwoman, I believe I have the authority to say, because it was a shit movie dumped by the studio at the end of the style cycle and had zero cultural relevance either in front or behind the camera. Oh, fuck.
And you know she
That's
can
awesome.
she can totally go out and Halle Berry can totally go out and say whatever the fuck she wants about it, because she
Yeah,
was
fuck
still
it.
in X-Men at the time. She's
Yep.
like, fuck you, Warner Brothers. Like X-Men, like Marvel probably paid her to go say that.
God, no shit, man. Well, that was when Fox still had it.
No.
Yeah, when she was in X-Men?
No, yeah, she was in Fox, but Marvel
I
still
don't know
was
if
there.
Marvel was really a solid
It's Marvel
studio at the time.
Fox. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe. It was 2004. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know if the Marvel Studios was a thing.
Well, they
I
still
don't think
put
that
the
was a thing
Marvel
until-
logo at the beginning of all those movies.
Well, yeah, because it's a fucking Marvel comic.
So it said Marvel
not a Marvel
Studios,
Studios,
right?
Did it though? I think it just said Marvel. I could be
Oh.
wrong. I have no. It's so long ago. Who cares even? I'm like, who even fucking cares?
All right, so we're getting towards the end because we've been going for what, an hour and a half
Yep.
or so, 2 hours
longer
almost.
than that, my dude.
Has
Yeah.
it been? Damn, I thought this would be a quickie.
Yeah, please. Our list stuff. Come on. Our list stuff is always. long.
All right, so the last one on my list, that's a non-comic book, but it's been turned into a comic book. And I have issues with the movie too, but I still don't see what the big deal is as to why it gets so much hate.
Okay.
And of course my eyes might be blinded because I was a fan of the first and second one.
Okay.
Growing up with it. So it is
Drum roll.
2003. It's another movie from 2003. What
God,
the fuck?
dude, really? You really did kind of.
I didn't even think of that. Oh man, maybe 2003 was just a bad year for movies.
It could have been.
Let's research that for next time. So 2003's Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines.
Oh wow, what a piece of shit.
See, now everyone says that. And again, my eyes might be blinded because I love the first and second movie, especially the second one because it was the first one
Everybody
I saw
loves
in
the second
theaters.
one. Yeah.
And to go on top of that, Terminator Genesis is actually a really good movie too if you haven't seen it. I don't know. It's PG-13, so I've watched it a bunch of times because that's the one my kids can actually watch.
I won't get into that.
Okay. But no,
because,
so
that will take
Terminator
forever,
3, Rise of the Machines. Why do people hate this movie so much? Like, I have a few things myself, but I want to know why. Like, you seem like you don't it.
Let's start with you.
Okay.
Because I could definitely pick this one apart.
Okay. One thing, and this is just a nitpick, this one.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just get the same actor who played John Connor in Terminator 2 to reprise the role?
Well, because that was Eddie Furlong at the time.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Well, because I think that was like in the peak of his drug
Don't
addiction and all
care.
his problems.
They could have helped him off his drug addiction by giving them money.
Yeah, because no, every alcoholic and drug addict knows the best thing you can do is give them more money.
Yes. No, I didn't know any of that shit, but still, I thought that would have been cool to have the same actor reprise the role. And then as far as them diving into, so this was 2003. So we saw Terminator 2 in 1980 something? No, 1991.
The first Terminator
was 89.
It's I think it's earlier than that.
Is it?
But
Okay,
yeah,
so
the first Terminator is like early 80s. I'm gonna look that up.
So Terminator 2 Judgment Day was 1991. So Terminator was probably 1989. I want to say
1984.
84. Okay.
Yeah.
So with Terminator 2 was like the first one I watched and big one, and it had more CG into it because it had the T1000, Robert Patrick, which turned into like the silver, whatever the fuck they want.
The T1000. Yeah.
Whatever they called it, yeah. So the graphics for that in 1991 were actually still really good. And then when they came out in 2003 with a sequel to that movie, the graphics that they did for the girl in T3, which was the TX, it did not look good at all. It's like they slacked on their CG, or they tried to do something different and just really screwed it up. So my biggest one pet peeve was like the visual effects. Like we saw them do really good in T2, and then they just go and with better tech too, and they still screw it up.
It's because of the aesthetic, dude. It's the same problem with Genesis. Like the war battle stuff, and it's the same problem with Terminator Salvation. It's like every movie cherry picks the thing that they want from the storyline.
Right.
They don't create the world, they just create their own aesthetic based on visuals or story. And it's like with Terminator 3, they went for the action part of it.
Right.
And did not care about the suspense and the drama and the brutality of. I mean, think about the first movie and the second movie, like when the Terminator, to show that he's a cyborg, he cuts his fucking arm off and rips the skin off.
Oh, he cuts his skin off. His skin off, not his arm.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Completely takes the meat off and like literally rips it, and it's like really brutal and creepy, and like.
And he never
shot.
fucking puts it back on.
I know. Well, because he just puts the coat back on and puts the glove on. But like some really brutal shit, or like when he digs his eye out in the first one.
Yeah. Which can I say? After Arnold cuts his forearm skin off and peels it off,
in the second one,
he doesn't put it back on. He puts his coat on and his glove on. With those robot fingers, his glove would not look as filled in as the other glove. Just saying.
Yeah, no, it's
nitpick.
That's a suspension of
see, you can
disbelief
totally nitpick everything.
No, I absolutely believe. No, dude, there's like 3 or 4 other ones in there.
Oh yeah.
But but there's no brutality in the third one. It's like, it feels PG-13.
Yeah.
Like it's like
it is PG-13.
But that's what I'm saying. It feels.
Or no,
like
wait,
it.
no, it's not. It's R. It's rated R.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
okay.
It's rated R.
Cause like think about oh god, what was the one I was thinking? I was just thinking about the one that just got neutered. It was bad.
Genesis.
No, it was a different movie that did the same thing. I'll probably get back to it, but I don't know, dude. Like Kristanna Loken looked really cool. I did appreciate they had a female villain. That was kind of good.
Yeah.
That was gonna change some stuff. But like it just turned into a goddamn cartoon. Like why? Like he's doing the thing where he's like swinging around on the back of like the fire truck or something, but it's in broad daylight, so it looks fucking dumb. And like
their tones for this were not really well done.
No, there's no suspense.
The cinematography could have been done a lot better.
The acting's kind of rough. The guy who plays John Connor kind of sucked. The fight scene and stuff with whenever he has to fight Kristanna Loken is kind of cool, but the problem is that robot seems like more of a badass than even the fucking T1000, so it kind of doesn't hold up.
Right.
Genesis has an even bigger problem with that. I don't know. It just doesn't look good. It just looks really campy and shitty, and it looks really flat and boring. Like there's just nothing about it that's memorable, like at all. Like there's just nothing about it. It just felt like a paint by numbers. Let's get it out, take care of it, throw Arnold in there, it'll be fine. Arnold looked like an asshole. Like
now, that's the one too. Terminator 3 is the one where at the end he ends up locking them into the nuke cellar, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's supposed to be the end of the world right there.
Yeah.
So they never fucking change anything.
No.
That's the greatest thing about these.
It's so pointless.
The Terminator movies are another good one that deals with time travel and is so fucking confusing.
And
because
Genesis just fucked it all up.
You have to. He sends his dad back in time to make him and it's a fucking loop and
it's just bad. Because the first 1 and 2 work with.
At least they never tried to explain how that time travel worked.
Yeah, 1 and 2. Well, they tried in Genesis, and that fucked
did they?
everything up. Yeah.
No, they explained like an alternate reality, I believe.
Which is a problem. And then once you do that, it's your way of negating the original movies. Like 1 and 2 worked within themselves, so they created their own time loop. That's what you wanted.
Right.
But then all the other ones try to either not explain it or explain it away to a point where it's like the first 2 don't exist.
3 just continued on from 2, the idea of it. They don't really explain anything in that one.
Well,
just that he because I don't really understand why any of that happened actually.
Well, the whole point is that in that one they tried to show off the fact that no matter what happens, Judgment Day is going to happen. It's inevitable. Right. It just the date would change or the way it happens changes, right. But it's inevitable.
And then Salvation is the only one that does not deal with time travel whatsoever.
Yes, which they fuck that up with the whole knowing whether or not the robots even exist.
Right.
John Connor would fucking know. He'd already know. He'd seen them.
Yeah.
It's like when they're so surprised that the robots are like making human skin and stuff and skin.
Yeah.
You would know that. Your mom told you everything.
Well, no, he would know that, but the other thing, the thing he didn't know was the robot built into an actual human.
That Sam Worthington didn't realize he was a fucking
right.
robot. Like that was the twist, but that's not how the movie presented that.
Right.
It's not. So that Terminator Salvation's not a terrible film, but it really does fuck with some lore that I don't like. And that was more of an action, like dystopian action movie versus like a sci-fi thriller.
It seems like that was another one, kind of like on the lines of Highlander 2, where it was written and then they were like, hey, we're going to adapt this into Highlander 2 because fucking Highlander 2 deals with aliens. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is not the same story. So then like on the same lines, I feel that's kind of how Terminator Salvation was it was written as another movie and they're like, well, we should adapt this just to go in here so we can give it its name.
Yeah.
So we get the sales that way.
But
Terminator 3 was my last one, dude. So
if it would look better, if it looked better, I think it could have saved it. Because the acting was a little rough. I think a little bit of editing and better lighting, like more dramatic suspense.
Okay.
I think probably a better soundtrack probably could have helped too.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that was just kind of a campy miss. It was the same.
And
it was the same
first.
problem.
It was the first one too that Cameron did not work on.
Yeah.
So they tried to give him a writing credit, but it's just for characters.
Yeah. I thought about it. It reminded me of how they took Die Hard and then made it PG-13
with
Live Free or Die Hard.
Was that PG-13? I thought the one after that. No, the one after that's rated R. Okay.
The one with Justin Long and Kevin Smith in it. And you could feel it. You could feel the difference. Don't get me wrong. I love Live Free Die Hard. I actually think it's really I enjoy it. I don't think it's a solid movie, but I do enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But it's so completely different from the original 3.
Right.
Because the second one sucks. But 1 and 3, I liked 1 and 3. The Die Hard
1
franchise.
is good. It's at the tower. 2 is at the airport, which it does kind of suck. 3 is the best one in my opinion.
The Sam Jackson, Jeremy Irons.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah.
And that's the best one in my opinion. Like the story, the plot, and then they like fucking WWE ripped that story to make like 12 rounds. It's like the same exact fucking plot. I was like watching that 12 rounds movie with John Cena. I was like, wait a fucking minute, what? Oh. Yeah.
But yeah, good list, man. I think that was a pretty solid list. Yeah, there are some in there that don't deserve the hate. There are some that you should definitely go watch and make your own opinion. Because like Doom, like a lot of them are just like stylistic stuff that you...
Yeah. A lot of them I put on here, like I've seen everyone that's on this list. It's just some of them I haven't watched recently. And I'm just curious of like what the hate is before I go back and rewatch them. Because I'm like, we all can have like, love eyes for movies and shit when we first watch them. Like a lot of people will realize that with certain movies that just recently came out. But people
are finally starting to figure it out with Game of Thrones. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to see how that goes next year when people have a year to, because I'm gonna probably do it. I'm probably gonna put the first 4 seasons in, and watch them, and then watch the downgrade just to, pat myself on the back and go, I called it 2 years ago that this was not gonna go well.
Right.
So, no, I was a solid list, my dude. I liked it. That was fun. I enjoyed that. It
was fun. Maybe I'll have more later.
Yeah.
I'll just look over. I'll look over at my DVD collection and be like,
I was gonna say, go through your library and we'll just find them all. It's essentially your way of going, should I go watch this again? So go through the list. Leave in the comments which ones you actually like, which ones maybe you deserved more hate.
Yeah.
That didn't deserve the hate, and also, if you want to throw titles out there for us to review down the road, let us know.
And here's the list one more time: X-Men: Last Stand, Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2, Howard the Duck, The Hulk, Battlefield Earth, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Terminator 3, Doom, Cop Out, Daredevil, Catwoman, Godzilla, and Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. I had 2 others on there that I crossed out because I was like, yeah, I already know what's wrong with these.
You gotta tell me. What were they?
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And Green Lantern.
Oof, yeah. I'm not even gonna get into those. Those are obvious. Deadpool already let us know, and the whole world can tell you why Suicide Squad sucks.
Yeah.
So
which those aren't ones I actually don't know why. I know why. I just was like, those would make for good conversation. I was like, no, we're already 2 hours in.
No, it'll literally just me being an asshole for an hour. So yeah, go make your own lists, you bitches.
Comment them, let us know.
And we'll go from there. So later, Myke, and later, nerds.
Peace. Thanks for tuning in to another great episode of Operation Babble. You can catch this episode and more at soundcloud.com/Operation Babble or iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play at Operation Babble, or YouTube at Myke Shrews, MYKESHREWS. Have a great day, guys. Peace.